Hello and welcome back to another Dare to Game video. Today we're playing Diablo 4 and I'm going to be going over the top 5 best suits of armor for the Druid. So I'm doing one of these for every class in the game, and what is normally the case is normally I'm having difficulty narrowing it down to 5 suits of armor that I like and then putting them in order about how much I like them. However, with the Druid, I actually was like, are there 5 suits that I actually consider to look good at all? The good news is, yes, I was able to find 5 of them that I do actually like. The bad news is they still are on the Druid, so if you want to wear any of them, you'll have to play as a Druid, which I know is terrible and sucks because the Druid is the worst. All jokes aside, if there are people out there who enjoy playing as the Druid, I am super happy for you. I do not. I find it to be a rather boring class that they're just, like, if there was no other option, then I would understand it. But honestly, the Barbarian, the Rogue, and the Sorcerer are all significantly more fun to play than the Druid. With all that being said, the way that these videos go is I usually like to keep all of the suits of armor just together. So if it's going to be the Adventurer set, all of the items are the Adventurer's items. That being said, the way that I most frequently will alternate that, where I'll switch out different parts, is I'll pick a set that I really like, and then if I don't like the helmet, which is usually the case, I'll swap it out for a helmet that I do like, and then I'll just match the colors. That's just me personally, but that's the one piece that I usually find myself swapping out. So sometimes that may happen for you, or, whatever the case is, blah, blah, blah. None of this is really all that important. I just like saying it beforehand because otherwise people ask me, why didn't you mix and match? It makes cooler items, blah, blah, blah. So let's just dive on in and start off with number 5. So starting us off at number 5, we have the Archons armor, and I've chosen the red variant for it. I actually pretty much like this one. I don't really have a whole lot bad to say about it. I think it looks pretty solid. It offers a lot more armored look than a lot of the Druid armors do, which I definitely enjoy. I don't see why you wouldn't want some armor on your outfit, even if you're not doing a direct melee combat build. But I genuinely like the way this one looks. It has the horn elements that a lot of the Druid stuff have, so you can see we've got a couple horns on the belt, including one that could be a drinking horn, or maybe the kind of horn that you blow to make noise, but it looks more like a drinking horn to me. And then we've got the antlers on the shoulder instead of the helmet. I actually genuinely like that, as it makes somewhat more sense to me. Obviously, I would never want anything on my head that was going to catch any incoming blows and direct them onto me instead of away from me, so I don't usually like the horn or antler ornamentation on the helmet. That being said, the one that exists on here is pretty small and looks just decorative, so that wouldn't catch any serious, forceful blow. On the shoulders, however, it does potentially offer something that might protect you from a sword strike, might have a sword strike glance off, even though they are upward curved, and so that would be counterintuitive for me. Or maybe you use them offensively, like you're being attacked and you shoulder stab an antler into someone's throat. I don't know. They don't actually bother me as much as a lot of fantasy things do. The arms are totally unarmored, which is always a weak point, but what are you going to do? The torso itself looks to be either leather or a thick cloth, which would offer some protection on its own, and then we've got some steel plate over top of like the very middleest part, so I like that it would offer some protection there. You can see all the way around the waist we've got some plate armor, which is an interesting choice, for the one place on your body to be comprehensively armored to be the waist. That's just interesting to me. Then you can see we have one armored tasset going down the middle on the front and one in the back, and then the legs themselves are protected by what looks to be a pretty thin piece of leather. So not great protection, but aesthetically, I actually like this one. Only thing I have is I'm not sure how he sees through the face mask thing that he's got going on, but I do like the way this one looks. It's got a mystic vibe to it that looks pretty dang cool. So that is the Archon armor in red, and it takes the number 5 spot. Next up at number 4, we have the Doom armor, and we have it in blue. Now this one is interesting because it's very bird-esque, and at first I didn't really like it, but it grew on me. For one thing, I like how the torso armor has the wings on them that remind me of the winged hussars. That's one of the first things that made me kind of like this armor. The other side is it's very bird themed, so you can see we've got feathers on the wrists, feathers on the shoulders, feathers on the back, feathers down at the bottom of our leg skirt looking thingy, and feathers on the helmet, as well as a bird shaped mask. So anybody that wasn't picking up on the vibes here, I think it's supposed to look like a bird. This one, it just looks right for a Druid. Like I said, we have some animal elements going on, mostly bird ones, and what I have to assume are talons hanging all over the rest of the armor, down off the waist and around the neck and stuff. A little bit of plate elements here and there, some stuff right around the waist. Then you can see we've got a little bit of a gorget that goes down to about the sternum, and then the face mask itself has some steel protection. But other than that, very lightly armored on this one, and I think it fits the Druid vibe rather well, that being not heavily armored, specifically for the intention of the fact that the Druid's more of a magic user, and so we've got that lighter armor overall. I just like how unique it is. I like how the feathers move move when the armor moves. Yeah, not a lot to complain about. Very unique looking, and I actually kind of like it. So that's the Doom armor at number 4. Next up at number 3, we have the Sovereign armor, and this time we're doing it in orange. So this one is kind of similar to the Archons armor, and it makes sense that I would like it. I just kind of like this one a little bit more, just because it looks a little bit better. You can see a lot of the same design elements. We've got a little bit more armor on the arms, what with a leather band on one side and a leather band with a plate on it on the other side, right around the elbow. So just slightly more protection there. The torso armor itself looks pretty similar, with the leather going all the way around and then the steel plate, but it comes up to the shoulders, so we've got just a little bit more plate on this one. We still have the antlers coming off, but this time it's a little bit asymmetrical and a little bit more understated, which makes me like it a little bit more. The head looks pretty dang similar. We once again have the full cloth mask over the eyes, blinding us entirely and making us vulnerable to enemy attack. That accompanied with a hood, and this time we have a little bit more of a antler element on the hood, but still small enough that I think it looks pretty good and not overdone. You can see that we've got, once again, pretty comprehensive steel plate all the way around the waist, which is once again confusing, but does look pretty cool, especially with the orange and steel contrasting against each other. Then once again, a plated tasset coming down the middle and the middle of the front and the back for the legs, and once again just a thin layer of leather protecting the rest of the legs. So not great armor value, you know, just appearance wise here, but it does look very, very cool. I like how the boots are like foot wraps, and then they've got what appears to be animal claws shielding the toes, so it's like protection for the toes and also where the animal claws would be on an animal. It's just an interesting design element that I get a kick out of. I don't hate it for any specific reason. I think it looks funny and kind of good. We once again have what appears to be a drinking horn on the belt, except for this time it seems to still be full of whatever is inside horns. I don't know, marrow or something on the front, but then a regular one on the back that is hollow. So a lot of interesting design stuff and things to look at in this armor, and I genuinely think it matches the whole Druid aesthetic pretty well. So that is number 3, the Sovereign armor in orange. Let's move on to number 2. Our runner-up at number 2 is the Warlord armor, and we're going to be doing that in green. And I like this one for a lot of reasons. It's got sort of a mystic Druid vibe to it, what with the long flowing cloak on it that has the animal elements in it, and also what appears to be like grass or something up top. It just has a very natural look to it. I like it in green because that fits with the vibe of the whole nature thing. Interestingly, the boots on this are pretty cool looking. They've got sort of an armored toe and sole and heel to them. It's just interesting to have that contrast on an outfit that otherwise looks very mystical and nature-based, to have steel-shod shoes. That's just interesting to me. We have a large steel, I guess you could call that a codpiece or a giant belt buckle, right at the groin region, which would offer protection in a very important place. Then we have a little snake-looking thing that guards the upper wrists on here, and a couple of steel rings right up around the neck and pectoral areas on it. Other than that, not a whole lot of armor to this outfit, but I genuinely like the way it looks. We do have some interesting antlers, like from an antelope or something, up on the hat, which, given the fact that it's a hat looking, or a hood or a wrap or something like that, not a helmet, makes me wonder how well that would balance on your head, but whatever. It looks kind of cool. And then a big skull monstrosity thing on the left shoulder, which also I still think looks pretty cool, even though it's rather ridiculous. It actually kind of looks like a beaver given the teeth, but the antlers kind of throw that vibe off for me, so I'm not sure what animal that's supposed to be. Altogether, I like it. I think it looks pretty good. It's definitely interesting and a lot better and more put together than a lot of the Druid outfits are. So that's number 2, the Warlord armor in green. Let's move on to number 1. Finally, at number 1, we've got my favorite, which makes sense given the fact that I put it at number 1, the fur-lined armor in brown. I genuinely like this one. I have no complaints about it. It looks perfect for a Druid. So I think in brown, it just looks great. We've got the two-tone, the lighter brown, and then which is like a tan almost, and then the dark brown undertones. I think it looks great together. It's got a lot of leather going to it. The stereotypical fantasy leather breastplate, which is just like overlapping strips of what looks like soft leather, which would offer not great protection in combat, but it looks very cool. And then underneath that, what appears to be more of a gambeson or a tunic of some sort, but that seems to go all the way up the legs and down the arms. So our Druid is rarely, but in this case, is fully dressed. We've got a full, what appears to be, I guess, bear or something cloak going on. I'm not 100% certain because the head of it looks kind of like a lion, given the like teeth and ears and stuff, but we clearly have antlers growing out of it, and those things strapped to the side are either more antlers but they're put in the formation of tusks. I don't know. It looks really cool and badass, but I'm not sure what animal it's supposed to be. I would guess I would guess a lion, and then all the other stuff was just strapped on over top of it. But it looks very, very cool. I love the fur on the gauntlets. Like I said, I love the fact that we're actually wearing pants and you don't just see giant exposed calves or thighs. What is the worst part? And other than that, not a whole lot to say. It just looks really, really good. Definitely screams Druid, at least for me. And it allows us to see our awesome face and epic beard. So that is the fur-lined armor in brown, which takes the #1 spot, and that is all 5 of my favorite suits of armor / outfits for the Druid in Diablo 4. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, anything to add, or if you have a different suit of armor for the Druid that's your favorite, let me know down in the comment section below. But in any case, that's all for today. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching another Dare to Game video. If you liked this video, please leave a like and a comment. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like my content and would like to support this channel, consider becoming a member today for as little as $1.99 a month. It makes a huge difference. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day. I'll see you next time.